Welcome to the Easy Show.
You know when I
Welcome to the Easy Podcast. I'm here with my mother. This is like our third or fourth episode, but we never introduced ourselves. So,
well,
where
I
your
think
mic at?
I think
Is it on?
I think we did, but I accidentally deleted
Oh
our
yeah, she
first
did.
ever podcast. So
Yeah, she deleted. She deleted it.
so I think we did introduce ourselves in the first one.
Yeah, but my name is Zalis, like Payless, but you put a Z instead of a like Payless, but you put a Z instead of a P. Not Zales, it's Zalis. That's my name. I'm from Johnson City, Tennessee. About to turn 24 in a week, December 28th. And yeah.
Can you sit right?
But
You chill, man.
I'm trying to chill. I'm just waiting for you to. All right, come on.
My name is Ebony, and I just turned 44 last month, and I'm Mama, even though we probably look like brother and sister. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But we started this podcast this wasn't our idea.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the
it wasn't.
podcast.
It was actually my sister's Caitlin idea because we was getting in a heated argument because she was
It was
talking
not
about
even an argument.
it was
Well,
low key a heated argument. You want me to tell you why? Because he said, okay, we was talking about an apocalypse, right?
no, it
Yeah, we
was talking
was.
about the DoorDash, and you didn't give somebody their drink, and you just made it like it wasn't a big deal that you didn't give.
Yeah, because someone got mad at me and was like, you forgot my drink or something.
We was having. I don't think it was an argument. I feel like it was just a difference of opinion, because an argument to me is like two people just not really hearing each other, and I feel like it was a productive conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Caitlin was listening, and the conversation kind of came full circle. She probably thought like, yeah, they crazy.
Yeah.
But it kind of came full circle, and she
see.
just popped up and she was like, y'all need a podcast, or y'all should start a podcast.
Yeah, because we be having when we're very opinionated, we're very opinionated, especially me. So
But it's like, I feel like we be having the same opinions, but you just be.
I'll be trying to be right. That's what it is. Because I just be feeling like, I don't know. That's a bad problem
Yeah,
with me, though.
I understand that my opinions are opinions, but you be thinking your opinions are
Because you're
facts.
always right. So I just want to be right over you for once. Like, you always right.
I'm not
okay,
always.
like,
I know what you're talking about,
yeah.
but I would say not even with me, like just with other people, or if you're talking to people on social media and stuff, like,
yeah, I be spitting
you just
facts.
think if it's your opinions, it's
because it's facts, bro. It's the truth. 9 times out of 10, it's facts. It's the truth. And people just be blind to it.
Know about that.
Okay, it may not be, but to me, it's like.
But yeah, so she suggested we do a podcast, and it took a while for us. I mean, I think we both thought it was a good idea, and we both it took us a little while to actually start doing it.
Yeah, because I wasn't. I was just being really lazy, and not really coming to you and be like, hey.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, well, I'm gonna do it, but you are the content person. You're the influencer. You're the content creator. You love this. This is
it's fun.
Yeah, you love it. I'm more of a behind the scenes person. I'm not trying to influence millions.
Yeah, I want to influence globally.
Yeah, I'm good with just like being behind the scenes. So although I wanted to do it and thought like it could be a good idea, I wasn't gonna like be like, come on, let's go, or push for it. So I was just kind of waiting for you to like really motivate me too, because this is your area.
When I went into front of the football team, and this is like the last year I was doing football, I went in front of them, and I was just like, I want to inspire millions of people around the world. And I was like, I was just talking about my faith and stuff and how I kind of strayed away from it in college. And I was telling them like, y'all need to look out something. Y'all need to look outside of football and find things that you're actually interested in and you like. And then 2 days later, I got kicked off. I feel like so, but it was a good thing because I feel like I learned a lot from it. And partially some of it was my fault, but I ain't gonna get into all that.
I mean, sometimes when you following your path and destiny, you do get some doors slammed in your face. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the wrong thing. I've found that it's more adversity when you're trying to do the right thing. You know what I mean? So
And I was the last one to go too. That's the crazy part.
What you mean last one to?
Like I was the last one to go. Like I thought they
Oh,
forgot. So I was, and I felt like pretty much everyone was saying the same stuff. So when I went up there, I was like, "Nah, y'all gonna feel me, even the coaches, because I feel like they was trying me."
it's good to express your thoughts and feelings and try to inspire. Um, I do think you should be mindful. I mean, it's better to be tactful. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
What do
I
you mean
don't
as in that? I don't know what that really means.
Tactful means
Like
I don't know.
strategic.
I don't always yeah, kind of. I don't always believe in like, oh, you got to be diplomatic and I mean, in this society and the climate it is, you it's like you can't really say anything without people getting mad or offended.
Yeah.
However, I you have you heard the saying you catch more flies with honey than vinegar?
Yeah. So basically, you gotta just word what you're saying a certain way.
Yeah, like I don't know
I heard
which
the saying before. I just
we
didn't know
were
where it
talking
came from.
about, how important it is how you treat people and loving people and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But sometimes we have to be mindful, especially if we really do want to be an influence and be a positive influence. We have to be mindful of how we interact with people and the things we say because you know I used to be big on brutal honesty or just being like, oh well, I'm telling the truth, so it shouldn't matter.
That's how I
It
feel.
does matter, it does
But
matter.
why? Because I feel like most people cannot accept the truth.
The truth is sometimes hard to hear,
Hmm.
but that doesn't mean that you can't be careful with how you say things. If you could deliver the truth in a way that won't be so um, hurtful or beating somebody over the head, then you should try to do that. But sometimes, no matter how you say the truth, it's going to hurt. In those instances, then it just hurts. But that's because the truth hurts. It's not because you're using the truth to beat somebody over the head. You're
Hmm.
trying to be gentle with it at the same time.
I just feel like at the end of the day, if you know I told you the truth, you gotta respect me. That's how I feel. Cause you do gotta you gotta respect the person. At the end of the day, if they get the truth, whether it's harsh or a soft truth, it's like you gotta respect it.
Well, I used to think like that, so I
Hmm.
understand why you're coming that way. But I have learned that um, if I can be truthful in love and
Hmm.
like, deliver the truth in love and not be so hurtful or harmful, then I need to try to do that. Because, before I didn't have any tact. It was just like, well, I'm just speaking the truth. And it wasn't like I was being malicious or anything like that. I just wasn't being mindful to be gentle.
I don't know. I would rather someone come to me with the cold, harsh truth than sugarcoat it.
What I'm saying is that doesn't have to be either or.
Hmm.
You can deliver the truth and be gentle as well at
Okay.
certain times, and maybe not all the time. But I feel like, sometimes the truth does hurt enough on its own that we need to be mindful of how we
How
deliver
we
it.
say it? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I get what you're
because
saying.
if I care about you and I know I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to like or it's going to be hurtful to you, I'm going to be more mindful about how I say it
Yeah.
so that I'm coming from a place of love. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So,
Because if you say it a certain way, I may feel like it's just a malicious intent.
and you're like, "Oh, she just
She just
getting on my
yapping.
nerves."
She just
Okay. Okay, yapping. Communication is a very important thing, and I don't like to argue with people. I would rather just say nothing. I feel like when two people are heated and arguing, nobody's really in a position to receive what the other person is saying.
yeah, that's how I am.
So
I'm
I would
like
rather step away, calm down, and then come back when it can be more effective. But I mean, it's a waste of time, effort, energy to argue with somebody and y'all both just in a position to where you're just trying to defend yourself and
yeah.
nobody's really trying to listen to
Yeah,
each
because no
other.
matter what, you're sticking to your opinion. So it's just like you're talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
Both feet, like both
And
of them.
and then people they communicate or argue or whatever. They just care about getting their point across and they're
That's a
not
good
really
point.
thinking like they're not listening with the intent of listening.
You
They're
just
listening with the intent to respond. So
that's
it's
how I
like the
am.
whole time you're thinking, ooh, as soon as they
As soon as you say something, I'm countering
And you know
real
what?
quick.
What we were talking about, and I struggle with this too, and I've come a long way, but it's something I still haven't mastered. Is like not cutting people off when they're talking.
Hmm.
So when you're actually listening with the intent to listen, you will refrain from cutting people off because you're not. As soon as they say something that you don't like or that you want to, what's rebuttal or
Yeah,
whatever, you know what I'm saying? You're going to try to jump in. A lot of people are like, I know for me, it's like, if I don't say this now, I might forget to say
that's how
it by
I
the time they
am.
get done talking.
You know what's the worst though?
What?
When you think of an argument, you think of like, dang, I forgot to say that, or I should have went back on that.
That's the thing about this podcast is like, I want it to be real. I realized when we first started, I was like, we're not going to edit, but we got to edit. I mean, it's going to just get too long, and some
Hmm.
parts are not necessary. But I don't want to I don't want it to be scripted or trying to redo things
Hmm.
or anything like that. So it's hard because when you go back and watch, you realize like what you were saying was not as clear as you meant it to be, or you could have added something
Yeah.
to like make it make more sense or add more context. But I mean, once it's done, it's done. You can't really go back and fix it. So I do, and yeah, even in our, even in this podcast, I go back like, oh, I should have said that a different way, or
Hmm.
it's still real. It's just that you could have added a little bit more
You
to it
could
to
have
explain,
broke it down a different way.
yeah, to make it more clear what you're trying to say. Because
Hmm.
I'm not good at. I feel like I'm not really good at communicating when I speak. Like when I write, I can think of what I want to say like flawlessly almost. When I'm talking, saying prayer confessions, those my prayer book that I say I say those out loud and it's really helped me with my speech. But I still struggle.
I think you have to read more than enhance your
I,
speech.
for me it's reading out loud. Like just reading those prayer confessions out loud has
Hmm.
helped me speak better, but I noticed too watching these podcasts, I'm like, I'm not good at talking.
I
I'm
feel like it's
not.
normal to me. Everyone looks at it from a different perspective, though. I feel like you judge your own stuff harder than someone else
Yeah,
will,
that's true.
or judge yourself harder than someone else will. So it's just like you may be speaking, like you may think you're speaking crazy, but someone like at home might
No.
think, "Well, Ebony speaks very good." And
Like when I write, I don't make grammatical errors. I'm very good with grammar. When I speak to you, I don't speak with proper grammar.
hmm,
I'm going to be like, I ain't got no, and
yeah,
stuff like that cuz
I mean,
I'm if
you cannot write like that in the paper. I ain't got no. Come
I
on now.
know, but I'm just saying that's an example. When speaking to you, I'm not even thinking about proper grammar. Now,
Yeah,
at work or something, yeah, I'm more mindful of how I speak and using proper grammar.
you remember when you was like, or when you said I may get mad, like when you're trying to explain stuff to me, or like I feel like I get mad, or I may feel like you're yapping, like I said, but then, but listen, hold on, hold on now. I feel like sometimes, like, look, after like, if you give me like 10 to 15 minutes to really think on the situation, I feel like I agree, and I'm just like, well, she is right, because
Okay,
I
but
try not to play victim. I feel like when you play,
I'm
because
sorry.
sometimes you do be
I can't.
yapping. Oh.
Yapping. Okay, that's what we call it. What
No,
is
but
it?
listen, I'll be really listening to you though. I'll be listening to you. I
That's
swear.
funny, but go ahead.
I'll be listening to you and I feel like, all right, she's right. Cause a lot of the times when you break the stuff, a lot of the times when you when
Okay.
you break stuff down to me, I'm like, she's right. Like she's actually right. And I have to like really self reflect. So I feel like I don't know.
I feel like at this point, you should know if I'm saying something, it's something of importance. I just don't fuss or say anything about things that don't matter.
Yeah. I feel like it's rare case I'm be like, oh, but I'd be really
No, they
sitting
don't.
there listening
I will tell you
like the
now,
whole
they
time.
don't. They both listen.
Hmm.
Caitlin might seem like she's like that, but she's the one I always tell like smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others.
Hmm.
And so Kaysa might not want to listen, but she does take everything in. I used to think the same thing about you when you were like, early teens. I'm like, he ain't listening. But then later on, you would say something. I'm like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
he is listening. So sometimes you're going to feel like teens are not listening. But I will say one thing all three of y'all always done was take in the things I say.
But Caitlin though, she when you tell her something, she really gets it though.
Oh
Like the
yeah,
first time.
because she's like me. We get it the first time. We're not
Yeah.
gonna. Well, I can't say that. Sometimes I'm hard. I bet God thinks I'm hard headed, but
Hmm. I
um,
think he thinks we're all hard headed. To be honest,
well, maybe.
I was gonna ask you about the marriage thing
What marriage thing?
because we was talking about marriage, and you was like, "That's a whole another episode."
It is. I can't say I've always definitely haven't always lived by it. I do think it's very for me it's a serious thing. Like it's a covenant between you, the person you're marrying, and God. And for me, covenants are not optional. Like they're not. Once you enter into a covenant, that's a forever agreement in my mind.
Hmm.
And and you become one with that person, and y'all become one with God. Um, but for me, marriage is like a representation between Christ and the church.
Hmm.
So the Bible refers to the church as Christ's bride. So there's scripture that just supports that representation. And so I can sit here and try to explain it, but really it's something that you have to read your Bible and let God reveal that to you.
So I have to study the Bible in order to really understand the marriage thing.
Yeah, I mean there's other books I've read to help give understanding, but it is kind of like a mystery. It is kind of one of those things like it's a revelation God has to give to you for you to really see the representation.
Hmm.
Um or maybe some people just think, I mean, it's just you know,
It's just like,
two people saying, "Oh, we're going to get married, we're going to commit," but if they change their mind later down the line, then they
see,
change their
that's what's
mind
hard
and
about it,
divorce.
because you gotta find ways to re-love your partner.
I don't expect you to like agree with that or fully understand it because I mean, I was just in a 6-year relationship and we
Hmm.
lived together, but we were engaged, but still like we weren't married. Now I wouldn't do that anymore. Now I wouldn't live with somebody I'm not married to anymore.
Well, no, so I can learn from that mistake.
Yeah.
Cause like, so wait, but there's a lot of people living with each other that's not
Yeah,
married.
yeah, and that's I mean, that's the normal thing in our society.
Hmm.
And for a minute, like I rationalized it and thought like, well, it's a good business decision to
Hmm.
live with somebody.
Hmm.
But pretty much if you're living together and you're having sex out of marriage, then it's sinful.
Hmm.
And the Bible says the marriage bed is undefiled, meaning sex is only good if it's within the covenant of marriage, and that's what I believe.
So basically, if you living with someone and you're having sex with them and doing all that, it's bound to fail. Is what you're kind of saying.
I'm not saying it's bound to fail. I just think it's sinful living.
Hmm.
And when you are living like that, then you're inviting other sinful things to come in.
Okay.
So you're kind of like leaving the door open for attack from the enemy, pretty much, you
Yeah.
know. Um, it's definitely not the majority in how our society sees marriage and views marriage. A lot of people now they're not getting married to somebody they have not lived with.
Oh, I'm not either. I got to see how they're like. I got to see their flaws. I got to see how they are when they get angry. Dang, but
But
you
you can
just
do
broke it down to me to why I shouldn't. But at the same time, it's like that's insane.
what,
Imagine moving in with someone and then you're just like, I cannot live with this
but this and
for the first time, like without living with them
I
already.
and that's the thing. When you are making the decision,
Hmm.
you're going to think like that. But when you pray about it and you put that decision in God's hands and you know God has brought somebody to you and has created somebody for you to be with, why do you need to live with them for? That doesn't mean y'all are going to move in together and not have any problems or not have to adjust to living together. But you're going to be able to overcome it, whatever you face, because y'all were made
To be compatible.
to be together. That's why you put
Hmm.
that decision in God's hands and you don't make it. But a lot of us are making that decision. With my last relationship, I made that decision. There were things that I thought, like, I don't know, my thinking was different then. Uh, and I think it was supposed to happen like it did because I learned so much in that relationship, like a lot.
Mhm.
And I had some good memories, and a lot of good came from it. So I don't think it was necessarily bad. God can take our decisions, that they might not be the best decisions, but He can use them to help us grow, to
Mhm.
help us get closer to Him, to, you know what I mean? So
Actually, I feel like I don't have to live with a person to see if I can live with them. I just gotta see what their flaws are. You get what I'm saying? Like just how they react to things or just how they are when they're not the best
I
person or
will
feeling like the
say
best person.
the most important one of the most important things is you want to know, like you want to have disagreements and see, how that person handles conflict, because not everybody fights fair. You don't want to marry somebody who doesn't fight fair.
Mhm.
Somebody who can hit below the belt and really, get mad and just act like you mean nothing. You don't want to marry somebody like that.
Yeah.
There's no limit for them. There's no limit for how far they will go.
Yeah.
So you want to definitely, marry somebody who,
So basically, someone who's not going to disrespect you or embarrass you, you don't want to marry them. That's what you basically
not
saying.
intentionally, put it that way. Not
Okay.
intentionally. I don't think,
Yeah,
sometimes
because
you
some
can't
people
avoid
make
it. We
mistakes.
make mistakes, but
Yeah.
there are some people who will, when they get mad enough, they do it intentionally. You don't want to, you know what I mean, marry
Mhm.
somebody who can intentionally hurt you,
Yeah.
just because they're mad and angry. So conflict resolution is very important. But I would just say, if marriage is something you want to do, and pray about it. And you don't have to, I mean, even if you're not ready now, which you're not ready now, but I'm just saying you can start praying for that now. I pray for y'all's marriages already,
For real.
for y'all spouses. Like, I don't know that, for sure that you will get married, but just in case you do, I'm already
If I get
praying.
married, she just has to be beautiful. That's how I feel. Like not just beautiful, but like
Zaylis,
not just beautiful, mom. Listen
are
to
you
me.
talking about inner beauty or outer beauty or
Both.
both?
But I gotta say this to you.
Okay.
I cannot date no one if they do not look the part. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm
And
sorry,
what
man.
part would that be?
Like if they do not physically look good, I cannot date them.
Okay, but
I
so
can't.
you just have to be attracted to them.
Yes, I have to.
Okay, but listen, I think attraction's important.
Hmm.
But beauty can fade when
That's true.
they get older. What they go, okay, 70 years old.
Everybody look dusty at 70 years old
Okay,
though.
ask
Like,
yourself this. If you got with somebody and let's say you decided you want to marry them and say they're beautiful and they look the part, as you say.
hmm,
Say they got in an accident where they got
okay,
deformed or
I
something.
get what
Are
you're
you
saying
going to
now.
want to leave them?
I feel like you gotta be loyal. You gotta be loyal then.
Committed. It's
Hmm.
about commitment, and it can't just be all about the outside, because that outside can change. And then some of those people that are beautiful on the outside, guess what? Be
They be,
having the ugliest
dude,
souls.
I swear the most beautiful. That's like you said, the devil. He don't
Yeah.
look ugly. He look
Devil's
beautiful.
gonna look good now. You think the devil walking around here with red tail and, I mean, red and with,
Nah,
horns, and no, the devil's gonna be the most
that
beautiful
is
thing you
true.
ever
Some of the
seen.
most a lot of pretty girls I've seen be terrible. But that's not every pretty girl, but like a lot of them do be
Do
like
you,
that, or just people in general.
do you when you're on like social media, can you tell when people have filters, like women have filters and stuff, and does it, like, what do you think about that?
I feel like it just shows insecurity, to be honest, because
But
like
can you tell when they have filters? Or you don't, it's not something that crosses your mind?
I don't really know. I feel like I judge somebody by what they post on their page. Like if
Okay.
they're always showing their body and stuff,
Mhm.
then I'm just like, no.
So, but what if they're just posting, not really revealing and stuff, but they just post a picture and you're like, "Oh, they are beautiful." Do you ever think like, "I wonder if they got a filter?" Or that doesn't cross your
I
mind?
can tell if there's a filter on someone, but I don't really intentionally look like does she have a filter on?
Oh,
Because a lot
okay.
of women like filters. Like that's just a thing nowadays. Like they're just gonna put a
Yeah.
filter on.
Filters
But I
are,
feel like I don't know.
filters used to be the Snapchat filters where you can tell it's a filter, but
Yeah,
now filters, you can pretty much alter
yeah, they
head
take
to
off the
toe.
acne. They
You
take
take
off.
off the acne, you can make your waist smaller, your
Bro,
I
I
mean,
seen the craziest. I'm sorry, the
go ahead.
craziest thing I seen was this app called the Face app. You can change your hair. You could change, bro.
You can change
When I
literally
realized
everything
women
about
can
you.
do that, I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
I just think at my age, I've gotten away from filters just because
Hmm.
I don't want to like be all pretty on social media and they see me in person and be like a whole jump scare because
I
you
think
start
they,
aging,
I
you
think
start
they might
getting.
think you look better, Mom. You beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I was with one of my coworkers. We were working an event after work, and he um seen somebody from social media, and he was like surprised. He was like, I think he said something like, "They don't look like that on Facebook" or something like that. And I don't want that.
Well, I think social media now is just like everything's being altered to where you can't tell if it's real or fake. So it's just
That's
like
true.
most of the times, if a girl put a filter on, I probably don't even know because it's so like
Yeah, yeah,
social
you
media
can't
is so
tell.
advanced that you don't even know. If I feel like they're a catfish, I'm not. I'm done with the date. There's no date.
I
Yeah.
don't think catfishes use filters. I think they just be whole different people. I think
They
they use
do
like
though,
a picture of somebody that's
but
totally
some people
different.
though really could do that though with the
What?
filters. Catfish you.
Yeah. So just don't try not to like.
Date for
I
beauty.
mean, right. I
I
mean,
understand
I'm
that.
not saying don't, that it doesn't matter,
Hmm.
but it it's should hold very little weight when you're talking about committing to somebody
Yeah.
and and coming into a covenant with of marriage with them.
Because basically, at any time it can change. And then what you gonna do? You just gonna stay loyal, or you gonna leave because they don't? Then that looks bad on you, and it really shows how bad you are innerly.
Superficial, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, so many more things that make you want to be with somebody you can lay your head down beside at night
and
and
it just be
and and,
peaceful.
and, ha- and feel safe and
Hmm.
trust them and you know somebody's gonna have your back.
Yeah, because when
You
you
know.
get old, you do lose everything. I ain't gonna lie. Not everything, but like you can't run, you can't. You don't look
some
as good.
some
You
people do.
tired.
Some
You're
people do,
old.
and
Your bones are
especially for
easy.
men. Men, a lot of men, they get better with time. They
I
look
know.
better when
That's why
they.
I'm glad I'm a man.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I'm glad I'm a man.
But yeah, so we'll end with this. What do you? I know you like the content creation thing and all that,
Yeah.
but with this podcast, I mean, we haven't really put like a whole bunch of time thinking and planning um anything about it really.
Hmm.
What do you hope to gain from it, or what do you think the purpose of it is?
I think this is. I feel like this can be like a secure place for people who may not have a good relationship with their mother or with their dad or just people in general. Or it can also heal people's relationship with their mothers or their
Mhm.
dads because like they're like, if you feel me, they can just use us as an example, or they can learn from us. Like parents can learn to be better, sons or daughters can learn to be better. So I want to gain that from that, like
Mm,
people involved in relationships and being more secure within their relationships, and seeing it's because some people don't know what a healthy connection is like between their parents. You feel me?
that's true, and that's
So,
sad. But yeah, you're right.
and then
That's
eventually, I would just want to get big to the point to where I can do stuff with other people. But
yeah.
that's put in a lot of work. You
But
got to put in a lot
we
of
gonna
work.
do this until I'm not committed to this to where I'm like, oh, I want to do this forever, just
Hmm.
because you know
That's just
I'm
like
not trying to
yeah.
influence like all these people. I mean, I'm good with influencing like two people.
Hmm. No, I feel like it's a mindset thing,
It is a
honestly.
mindset thing, and my personality is just not.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't. It just I've learned to just let God lead me in
Hmm.
whatever He wants to. I want Him to get glory for everything I do.
Hmm.
Your life is your life, but for me, I do want to fulfill my purpose and all that stuff. So I'm willing to do this. If it's helping people
Hmm.
and even if it's one person, you think it's worth it if it's just helping one person?
No, I feel
Really?
like it is, but like me, I be trying to impact. Like I know we could do more than one person, so that's why I said no. Like
Okay, but
I have a bigger
just
goal than just one person.
I know that, but you got other channels and
Hmm.
platforms and stuff too.
I mean,
But I
yes,
mean,
of
me
course, it
and
would be
you.
a good thing if it changed one person's life, but I'm so confident that it's gonna like
Oh,
be better
okay.
for more than one person.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
I
saying.
believe that too.
But
I
I honestly
just
think that I know you don't want to like if it were to. I don't like saying if. I like saying when. Like when it were to do really good, that you ain't gonna want to keep like you gonna want to do your own life.
who
But then
me?
like I'm talking about like when the podcast in general like does good, like or gets big to a certain point, you wouldn't want to keep doing. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm
Oh.
against it, but what I'm saying is, um, you know, there's a season for everything, and I
Mhm.
don't know what the future holds, especially for this. This was neither one of our ideas,
Yeah.
so
You never
we'll ride
know.
it until
We could probably do this for 3 more months and we'll be on something crazy. No, though,
what's on
like
something crazy,
I mean, like
something
something
different.
good. Yeah, like
Oh,
something
okay.
good happened to us, or you could be doing it for a year, or something good happened to you, or 2 years. Like it does. You never know. It's just
Yeah,
basically you gotta keep putting out content until.
yeah. We gotta keep talking about stuff.
Hmm.
Like,
But
man,
there's so much to talk about to where I feel like.
yeah, that's true. Because as an adult, as you as an adult, we're evolving, our relationship's evolving.
Hmm.
So yeah, it can be good for us too because
Hmm.
as you as an adult, me as the mom, the adult mom, the mom of adults that I am now,
Hmm.
so a lot to learn now, a
Yeah.
lot to do moving forward. So
But yeah, that's my main goal is for people to see like it's okay to have a healthy. Because I've met a
have
lot of
real
people.
conversations.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people in college who don't have no help. They don't talk to their parents. Their parents don't like them. They don't like their parents. Or
Yeah,
a lot of people like I feel like there's more people out here who don't have a healthy connection with their parents than there's people who do.
yeah.
So
Hmm. So well, I love you.
I love you too. Give me a hug, mom.